This video is about how adding additional causes to an existing movement can subtract from the number of people who want to participate in that movement. And I will be leading up to the Atheism Plus discussion. Before making this video, I saw videos by the Atheist Aussie, who is saying what I am about to say in a very different way without a whiteboard. I saw videos by NoelPlum99 and Integral Math, who has a whiteboard but didn't use it when he was discussing Atheism Plus. Now, the observation I'm making here is drawing upon not just my involvement in the atheist community on YouTube. It also draws on my observations from being a part of different protesting movements. Many of these videos that I'm drawing from you can see on my YouTube channel. And I'm only going to go back a decade, even though I think that this is as old as history. It's just a principle that probably all politicians or all people who are going to be involved in politics should know. Now, for the purposes of this, just imagine that the people in the world that want to change the world are represented by something that extends beyond the borders of this whiteboard. It's actually an infinite amount of people that just want to change something in the world. And we're going to just go back one decade and talk about an observation that spans MoveOn.org, then the Tea Party, then Progress Now, then Occupy Wall Street, and then right now we have both the Ron Paul delegates and the Republican Party that are being wooed to stay in the party, and we've also got Atheism Plus. So, for brevity, out of all of those, the easiest one to draw is the Tea Party. Now, first we've got all the people in the world who think that the world needs to change. Then we're going to make this circle here of a Venn diagram, where we've got people who think that the biggest change needs to happen in the U.S. tax code and financial reforms. And between 2005 and 2008, we saw a very big change in the Tea Party, where they adopted a lot of the evangelical Christian platform, as well as gun rights. You know, there were people who were open carrying at Tea Party rallies because they were afraid that their gun rights were being taken away. There were people who were holding signs that were very hateful. And basically, instead of having Ron Paul as their golden boy, they kicked him out of the movement and then brought in Michelle Bachmann, because she reflected these evangelical Christian values a lot better. So, as you can see, I've drawn this as a very smaller circle within that circle because it made their movement very ineffectual and very laughable and mockable and very small when they added all these additional causes to the original message, which was tax reform. So, skipping on, we're going to go to Occupy Wall Street. And a lot of you know that I was involved with Occupy Wall Street in my state. Many videos on my YouTube channel about it. Now, imagine that the feeling of Arab Spring and change across the world is infinite and bigger than this whiteboard. Now, in the U.S., the Occupy Wall Street message was originally that after the Gramm-Leach-Bliley Act, banks had not enough regulation, and they were able to create derivatives out of mortgages, and that is something that led to financial collapse in 2008, and that needed to be addressed by U.S. lawmakers, right? That's that circle right there. That was the original message. Go down to any Occupy movement now, and just on your own, take your camera with you and ask some of the protesters there what a derivative is. You will probably be very surprised to know that they, on average, don't know what a derivative is, even though that was part of the original message of Occupy. Now, switch to the red marker. A very large subset of the Occupy movement, which didn't lose that many members, is the corporate personhood crowd. Okay? Didn't lose that many members with people who wanted to make sure that personhood laws only applied to people with corporeal bodies and not paper bodies. Then, around, see, that would be circa September of 2011. Then in October of 2011, you had a lot of different Occupy movements ratifying manifestos. And this was when the movement started to lose members from within, but was also getting a lot of media attention. So there was a little irony there, but half of their members left because of all of these things in the social manifesto that had nothing to do with the original message of Occupy Wall Street, but even Occupy Wall Street protesters at Wall Street ratified these things. And that manifesto really reflects the left-leaning tendency of Occupy versus the Tea Party, which went right-leaning. And if you look at this progression of movements, there is a core of protesters that really are narrowly focused on just financial issues and don't really care about all the other stuff, and they're trying to find a place to be, a good base to work from to get these changes to happen. But movement after movement ends up kicking them out with these additions of social causes that had nothing to do with the original movement. Then you've got people when things started getting violent at Occupy movements. You've got people, this is another subsection here, who are willing to do more than just the illegal activity of occupying to get a badge of honor. They're willing to bait police into arresting them in order to get more news coverage for their movement. This is the point where I actually had to leave the movement myself. And locally, here in my own city of Colorado Springs, you've got the platform of let's protest the existence of our power plant because it burns coal. Let's protest fracking, even though the practice of hydraulic fracturing has actually gotten a lot better. And it is not reflective of what happened in Pennsylvania because we have thousands of feet of impermeable rock to deal with. We've got other social issues that had to do with vagrancy, camping in public. We've got issues of panhandling. We've got all these other issues that if you are a member of Occupy Colorado Springs, you are expected to adopt. And moreover, the people that are left, the handful of people that are left from the hundreds that originally showed up for the original message, the handful that are left, the majority of them are peace protesters in a city that is surrounded by military bases, and they've been here for years. And the addition of we're going to protest any expansion into Pinyon Canyon with helicopters, any expansion of adding additional military brigades to the existing posts around us, we're going to protest, even though the majority of the community around us are either in the military or are prior service or have a direct family member in the military. So very much smaller because they added all of these additional causes to something that originally had one focus, which was more narrow. right now, I'm not going to draw this out, but we've got a whole bunch of people who, if you are a Ron Paul supporter that kept on telling people even after his son Rand Paul endorsed Mitt Romney, if you were telling people that there was still a chance that Ron Paul would win the Republican nomination, there were people who were saying that there was this vast conspiracy about delegates and everything. If you were one of those people that went over the deep end, just come out and admit it. To me, an additional observation that I see is between the May 21st end of the world prophecy from Harold Camping and the December 21st, 2012 Mayan calendar thing. Between that, the greatest the sky is falling thing is these Ron Paul supporters who, till the very end, with all this evidence to the contrary in front of them, they would tell people that no, Ron Paul still has a chance to win the Republican nomination. They all should be eating crow right now, but instead they are telling all of their fellow supporters, hey, if we want to change this party, we have to stay in it. We have to stay, And people like me, who are more left-leaning and just fell into this group because of that narrow issue of financial reform, and I followed some protesters on their path, and I became a delegate for the Republican Party myself. We've seen things in the Republican Party we don't like. Me personally, I filmed the log cabin Republican at the state assembly in Colorado last April. He got on the stage, was announced as being a log cabin Republican, and half the crowd booed him out of extreme homophobia. And it's just not the crowd for me. Rather than trying to change a large party from within, I'm at the point where I would rather leave the party and go join something that reflects my own values and from the beginning, and not try to co-opt another movement. But there are still these people that are trying to keep the Ron Paul crowd in the Republican Party, sometimes because they realize that basically Barack Obama is going to win the election without the help of the Ron Paulers to vote for Mitt Romney, which is in jeopardy. And some of them, because they worked so hard in order to try to co-opt the Republican Party, they don't want to see all of their efforts go to waste when it was just a bunch of corruption in the end that thwarted all their efforts. And they believe that they made a little bit more headway this 4-year cycle, and they can make even more if they keep the progress that they've made and don't lose a lot of these delegates who became precinct captains and actually gained office within the Republican Party that are looking at leaving it right now. So we've got people within a movement who are not in line with all of the other social issues that movement has, who want to leave. Pattern, people. Now, with Atheism Plus, I'm going to use this whiteboard and draw a very large circle. This is not the atheist community. I'm going to call this the Great Debate community. Because there are Christians and theists that are very much respected among the atheist community as being moderates. And once we start calling it the atheist community, we'll draw this blue, we're going to cut out people like Together for Peace, Noah, Veritas 48. We're going to cut out people like Theo Warner, Bossman 103, Roman Missile Exegete. There's a whole bunch of people within the Great Debate community that atheists can talk to openly because they are part of this greater community that believes that it's okay to be an atheist. Right? That is the central thing about the Great Debate community, is that they all accept that it's okay to be an atheist, right? But this blue line is the line where you start telling people that you should be an atheist, rather than it's just okay to be one. Now, I know a whole bunch of atheists who have the same observation here that I'm going to state, and it's that if you, as an atheist in the YouTube atheist community, if you were to not be in line with progressive liberal agenda issues like all the rest of them, you will be ostracized and considered a pariah. We're going to take all the libertarians and all of the Republicans in the atheist community, which there aren't that many compared to the rest of them. We're going to put them on the outside of this circle, okay? Right there, you've lost people like Eagle Eye 1975. You've lost a whole bunch of really great thinkers that they were with you when you were saying that it's okay to be an atheist. They're all with you on that message, but as soon as you start adding, well, you know, we dropped religion, and so we don't have any reason to be conservative anymore. Once you start adding things like that, you're going to lose a whole bunch of people. But that's not really a 50-50 split. Then you're going to, let's draw a circle around that and start getting rid of things like, if you see any merit whatsoever, if you're even going to explore the topic of, let's say, genetics and race realism, if you're going to explore it with an open mind at all, you are outside of this circle, right? I'm not saying if you're going to support it, you're outside of the circle. If you're even going to entertain for a moment that there might be something to something about genetics that might lend credence to some argument that some race might have some advantage somewhere, that however slight, you entertain that, you are outside of this circle, okay? And that's more than just a libertarian realist and hey Ruka. The groupthink and the ostracizing mentality of this line is freaking huge. Let's see. Now we're going to get to a little bit more of the atheism plus values. Transphobia, you're not going to find a lot of transphobia in the atheist community after you've already gotten rid of the people who are just part of the great debate community. After you've already gotten rid of the theists, you know, there isn't a big reason for transphobia, but, you know, it is still there among a lot of people just from upbringing or, you know, ignorance. So you're going to lose some people there. A very large portion of people that you're going to lose, we'll switch back to red marker for this, are when you start adding that you should be feminists. You're going to lose MRA activists right here, like Girl Rights What. You're going to lose myself in that I'm at least an intactivist. I don't like the practice of circumcision on babies, and you know that gets me into the MRA community as at least that one issue. And a lot of other issues go along with, you know, when you lose your religion, you fall into different groups where if you have that one issue, like for me, intactivism, you're going to see a lot of the people that are supporting you they are going to have other issues, such as men shouldn't have to pay child support if they wanted the woman to have an abortion. Not something that I agree with, but they're out there, and you're going to lose people. Adding this feminism, you're going to lose people who just think that atheism has nothing to do with feminism. You know? So we've gotten a whole bunch of different bans here, where we've lost people so far. How many more bans can we make? Let's make a circle here that says that people outside of this circle don't believe that people who question things should be pushed out of the movement. People who don't have the same values as you are less than you. If you're not lockstep within a set of values for a political platform, then you are not an atheist. You are a confused atheist. Yeah, we're getting smaller and smaller and smaller, right? And this isn't as big of a cut as when the Tea Party went to evangelical Christianity. It isn't, because we're already a very small dot in the first place, right? Each additional cause that we add to atheism reduces the number of people that are willing to support the movement that you are putting forward. And I hope that more people come up with different ways to describe this with different Venn diagrams. I would make it a Venn diagram that looks more like a MasterCard logo, you know, with circles, you know, one circle here and one circle there. But doing that, I think, is even more confusing when we're talking about Atheism Plus, because there are so many things, you know, that we're adding to this stew. And it is, of all these movements, Atheism Plus reflects, in my mind, the Occupy movement the most, because of the long list of different values that you could add from the liberal platform, you know, that just each one is another little circle, and another little circle, and another little circle. So, thanks, class. Everybody, get a whiteboard, draw it yourself.